Everyone's life is like a story that has yet to be told. History and legends have held many stories of heroes who have accomplished amazing feats of courage and strength, where they battle beasts of unimaginable power, size, and/or influence. I see some parallels in my life, although my battle is not an external one, but inside is fought inside. It doesn't make it any easier to fight and make it through the day. Throughout my story, I have come against the world a little too early and learned the hard way just how cruel and unforgiving this world can be. I have seen firsthand at just what can happen when nothing is held back, to soften to a young child's ability to understand what anger and hatred truly are. About 13 years ago, when I was only 6, I saw a man beat his wife and child, hospitalizing both with multiple injuries. This happened to my best friend and neighbor, Jeremy, and his mother. Almost every day his father would come home smelling like beer, but it was just a faint whiff, like he only had one or two. But on July 29th, when he came home, he smelled strongly of liquor. That day, I was playing with games with my friend in the grass in front of the apartments in which we lived, when his father stumbled out of his car and pointed at me and slurred out for me to get away from his son. So I did, only because I knew something was wrong, and I was scared. But instead of running home, I ran to his mother, since my mom wasn't home at the time, and I told her that her husband was acting weird and smelled funny. Just after mentioning the smell, she dropped the plates she was washing. Before they hit the floor and shattered, she was already out the door. Then there was a split second of silence, and I heard her scream. Then I ran outside to see what happened. She was sprawled out on the ground, with a bloody nose covering her son, who was nothing more than a crumpled heap on the ground, not even making a sound. After that, I was so scared that I couldn't move, but only watch as he beat them with a flurry of kicks and punches. Suddenly, I felt only one thing take over, as if everything inside snapped. I ran from the door and attacked the man with my own wave of punches and kicks. Although he was much larger and much stronger, he fell to the ground and hit his head on the concrete, which knocked him out. But I didn't stop my assault until 2 other guys came around the corner and pulled me off of him and asked me if I attacked them all. But Jeremy's mother called out to them and said that I saved them from her husband just before she passed out from the attack. Soon, the paramedics arrived with the police and took them all away, then vanished from the apartments. After a day, I was allowed to see my friend and his mother, but when I got into their room, she was sitting up while he was still asleep. When she saw me, she called me over and grabbed my hand, crying. She thanked me for saving her and her son, and told me that he was in a coma and couldn't wake up for now. Coming to see them and how they were doing after kindergarten, I kept talking to him about the dream we both had to join the army and go off and do crazy missions like the ones in the video games we played. This only made his mother cry every time, but things took a darker turn on July 2nd at about 2:30 in the morning. On my trip there before school, while I was holding his hand, the monitor with his heartbeat going on and on just made a constant beep, and the bumps disappeared to reveal a flat line. Then I was pulled out of the doctor's way, with his mother holding me back so I wouldn't get in the way as they tried to save him. They couldn't do anything. The main doctor just hung his head in shame and almost fell out of the room. Without anything else to do, Jeremy's mother told me that he had died, that there was nothing the doctors could do to save him. Although I just found out my best friend died, I didn't shed a tear. I only felt more encouraged to go into the army like we had planned, as if to keep him alive, and for a memorial to him. After that, my first full-time battle started. How would I go on without the one I leaned on for support? How could I stay the same, knowing that I had to deliver the news to everyone at school? It only made my day worse. Just because everyone liked him. No one at the school didn't know him, not even the older kids. They were the ones who watched over him and me willingly because we would play games with them. Although many years have passed between then and now, I can still remember everything from those few days and how everyone reacted to the news. At the end of the week, several others and I were supposed to lead the memorial for him as we told of our experiences and told our stories. Although none of us could finish any of the stories because just speaking hurt everyone. That one event shaped my whole life into one of many battles, constantly raging between duty and desire, guilt and knowing that I couldn't change a thing, life and death, and happiness and sorrow. Although it was a horrible event, it let me grow up ahead of everyone else and start the next chapter of my life. Even though I didn't want to continue the story, but instead go back and change the pages before to make them just a little happier. But I can't. I can only put it all behind me and open the door to the next part of the story and everything it holds.